There are so many emotional moments when it comes to the game of basketball in the NBA. I mean, hell, we just watched Kobe Bryant pass away, and LeBron James was in tears, and that was one of the saddest and most emotional moments I have ever seen in my life. And in today's video, we're going to talk about the 10 most heartfelt moments throughout NBA history. But without further ado, if you are not subscribed to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Also hit that bell to be notified. It's your boy David from NBA Knowledge, and let's go. The first moment that we are going to talk about, we are going to stay on the topic of Kobe Bryant. One of the most emotional moments that I think every NBA fan has had is to watch your favorite player play their last game. And to watch Kobe Bryant in his last game leave his heart and soul on the court, it was definitely one of the more emotional and best moments that I have ever seen as an NBA fan. I mean, you had everybody there. You had Jay-Z, Kanye, Snoop Dogg, Shaq. You had everybody that was famous at that game because it was a very memorable game. To score 60 points in your last game while taking 50 shots in typical Kobe fashion, it was just the icing on the cake. But moving on to the next moment that we have Alonzo Mourning overcoming his kidney transplant. A lot of people don't know, but smack dab in the middle of his prime in 2001, and even though when he came back he wasn't really the same, he still found ways to contribute and eventually became a champion in 2006 with the Miami Heat. This was definitely a good showing for Alonzo Mourning. It showed that he had heart, determination, and some soul because this was a very tough time. Just imagine you're an all-star, you're on top of the world, and then you have to miss basketball for over a year due to a kidney transplant. And then eventually he comes back and wins a championship with the Heat. It was just a heartwarming moment. It showed that this guy was tougher than he looked. But then we move on to the next moment. We have Magic Johnson winning the All-Star Game MVP. Obviously, for those who don't know, let me refresh your memory. Magic Johnson obviously was diagnosed with HIV during the ending of his career. And then he came out of retirement and then played a few games and then made the All-Star Game, obviously due to his popularity, and won the All-Star Game MVP. He did play relatively well towards the ending of his career in his last season, and it was just a very heartwarming moment to see because this was a guy whose life was at risk and then lost not only his career but lost a portion of his life. And honestly, I definitely think this is one of the best moments that I have ever seen. Not obviously I didn't see it with my own eyes because I wasn't alive at that time, but to see like the videos, and I can only just imagine how he felt because he was on top of the world. Imagine you're the face of the Lakers with Kareem and all these guys, Showtime, and you're the face of LA, and then you have to retire due to an HIV illness that changed his life drastically. I honestly think it is very heartwarming to see him come back and compete at a certain level and not only win the All-Star Game MVP, but to just play basketball in general. That was a huge victory for Magic Johnson and the NBA as a whole. But we move on to the next topic. This one's a little bit more, better. I don't mean to be sad throughout the whole entire video, but we have LeBron James when he took some selfies with some kids. Do not be fooled. I know a lot of people hate LeBron James, but this moment to me is a little bit more heartwarming because it just goes to show you that LeBron's a normal guy. This is a guy that loves kids. He has kids of his own, and a lot of people hate on him, but it also goes to show you that this is a guy that has represented the NBA to the best of his ability. Hasn't had no scandals. People love this guy. He's built a school, hasn't had nothing about his wife, no rape, nothing. This is a guy that has kept a great record, and with all the media attention on him, it's tough to find somebody like that. And a moment like this just goes to show and remind everybody throughout the entire world that LeBron James is just a great person. But moving on to the next topic, we have John Wall's emotional interview after finding out that the girl that he befriended, and correct me if I'm wrong in the comment section with this pronunciation, her name was Maya Telemac Nelson. She had actually died due to cancer, and he had just found out after the game. He had an amazing performance, and honestly, that interview just goes to show that John Wall is just a person just like all of us. He has emotions, and we put these basketball players and celebrities in general on high pedestals, and when they show emotion, sometimes it's just a nice reminder that they're just like us. And John Wall was a great person, and I'm not saying he's a bad person now, he's still a great person, but to see this moment, it was just very, very emotional and one of the best moments that I've ever seen in my life because it just goes to show how strong he is. And honestly, rest in peace to Maya. But moving on to the next topic that we have Michael Jordan's performance in the NBA Finals that he dedicated to his father. For those who don't know, Michael Jordan's father was killed, which a lot of people speculate was one of the bigger reasons why he retired, other than the fact that he might have been suspended, but that's a topic for another discussion. And when you look at the fact that Michael Jordan played so well that day in the NBA Finals, scoring 22 points, grabbing 9 rebounds, and dishing out 7 assists, he would win his 4th championship after leading the Bulls to a 72-10 record-setting win season at the time, and also winning Game 6 in the NBA Finals against the Seattle Supersonics. It was just definitely one of the more heartfelt moments, and let us look into Michael Jordan's emotions and him as a person. And honestly, it was one of the best dedications that I have ever seen with my own eyes. Obviously, I didn't see it in person. You guys get my drift. But the next thing that we have Kevin Garnett's speech after he won the championship in 2008. Now, honestly, this was one of the speeches that's kind of memed, but that anything is possible line is one of the most iconic lines in sports. It is so emotional to see a guy like Kevin Garnett, a guy who grinded from high school, came out, didn't even go to college, played well in Minnesota, wasted so many prime years, and finally broke through and won his first championship with the Boston Celtics. The interview is kind of a meme now, but to me it is one of the best interviews, not just in NBA history, but in sports history as well. But the next thing that we have on this list is the Greg Popovich interview with Craig Sager. Now, you guys may not know this interview, but I remember it very well. It was when Greg Popovich was talking to Craig Sager after Craig Sager had finally been able to interview people because of the cancer treatment. And honestly, if you just go back and watch it, it's just one of the more heartwarming moments to see, because to see a guy like Craig Sager, who has impacted the NBA in a huge way, one of the best sideline reporters when it comes to interviews, and when he was battling cancer, the whole league was behind him. It was a nice rally and nice to see Greg Popovich in this interview really just helping Craig Sager and just boosting his confidence throughout his run with cancer. Now, we all know Craig Sager sadly did pass away due to cancer, but this interview is just a nice reminder that all people are lights to the world, such as Craig Sager. And honestly, let's move on to the next one, because I'm kind of in tears right now, and that is Dirk Nowitzki's last game. Dirk Nowitzki's last game itself wasn't no great game by any means, but to see Dirk Nowitzki in his last game with no athleticism, because he's never really had that, but it was just nice to see, because this is a guy that has contributed so much to that Dallas Mavericks organization. And then his interview at the end, he gave that speech. It was I'm in tears again, man. It was one of the saddest things I have ever seen, because I've watched Dirk. I saw him upset LeBron James, Kevin Durant, Kobe Bryant, all those guys on the way to the NBA Finals. And honestly, it was just one of the best moments I have ever seen throughout my entire life. So shout out to Dirk Nowitzki. That last game, I will never forget it. But moving on to the next last game that we have, which is the final selection on this list, we have Kobe Bryant's last All-Star game. I gotta be real with you guys, this All-Star game is one of my favorite All-Star games to watch. I'm not saying I go back and watch the highlights on a daily basis, but if I ever wanted to watch one, I would watch this, because it is Kobe Bryant's last All-Star game. We all know Kobe Bryant tragically did pass away. Rest in peace to the Mamba, 824. But if we're being honest here, this game was amazing to watch. To see Kobe Bryant and LeBron James duel it out one more time, see guys like Dwayne Wade and LeBron share the court again in the All-Star game. It was really fun to watch, and also it's just cool to see Kobe Bryant do anything for the last time, because he is one of our favorite players. But that concludes this list, you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure you drop a like down below, comment your opinions. I would love to know what you guys thought about this. This is your boy David from NBA Knowledge. Y'all have a great day. I'm out.